Okay guys, good afternoon once again. Last topic na tayo ng partnership. Okay? Let's discuss liquidation. Okay? Under liquidation, dalawa lang. Okay? Dalawa lang yung pag-uusapan natin. Okay? Lump sum liquidation and installment liquidation. Okay? But first, let's define what is liquidation of partnership. Okay? Liquidation is the process of converting partnership assets into cash and distributing the cash to creditors and partners. Frequently, the sale of assets will not provide sufficient cash to pay both creditors and partners. The creditors have priority on any distribution. The basic rule in that no distribution is made to any partner until all possible losses and liquidation expenses have been paid or provided for. An individual prematurely distributing cash to a partner whose capital account later shows a deficit may be held personally liable if the insolvent partner is unable to repay such a distribution. The proceeds of liquidation may be distributed in a lump sum after all assets have been sold and all creditors satisfied, or the proceeds may be distributed to partners in installments as excess cash becomes available. Okay? So, let's proceed to lump sum liquidation. But first, let us know the lump sum liquidation process. Okay? So, lump sum liquidation process. Okay, first, let determine, okay, the loss on realization or under the sale of non-cash assets. Okay? Determination of loss on realization. Okay? Next, payment to outside creditors. Okay? That's the second step. The third step is payment of liabilities owing to the partner or partners if maraming partners. Okay? Usually, payment of liabilities owing to the partners is also known as settlement of loan or offsetting. Okay? So, the last step in lump sum liquidation process is distribution of cash available to partners. Kumbaga, once na na-settle mo na lahat from 1 to 3, yan na yung pinaka-final mo under lump sum. Okay? Liquidation process. So, lump sum. Okay? Problem number 1. Okay? The presented balance sheet below of the partnership of milk, tea, coffee, and chalk are as follows. By the way, lump sum liquidation. Okay? Sa lump sum liquidation, okay, as if binenta lahat, okay, ng non-cash asset. Okay? So, sa pag-account ng capital balances, okay, and or in the process of liquidation, mapapansin mo, okay, yung what you call this, the balances, okay, of okay, the presented balance sheet below of the partnership of Milk Tea Coffee and Chuck are as follows. Okay? Again, lump sum liquidation. Assuming that all non-cash assets were sold. Okay? So, balance sheet of partnership of Milk Tea Coffee and Chuck is this. Okay? Cash, other assets, liabilities, and partners' capital. Okay? And their respective profit and loss ratio. Okay? So, next. Additional info for the liquidation process. The partnership, okay, decides to liquidate, and the following are the event during liquidation. Okay, other assets sold for 420,000. Okay, take note, other assets sold for 420,000. Okay, pag sinabing other assets sold for 420,000, yan yung cash, okay, na marireceive mo sa pagbenta ng other assets or non-cash assets. Okay? Then, outside creditors, paid in full. Okay? Kasi sa lump sum, one time, big time. Okay? Ang pagbenta, pagbabayad, okay? And then pag-distribute. Okay? So, remaining cash, okay? Distribute to partners. Okay? Yan yung mga proceedings, okay, for lump sum liquidation. Okay? So, the questions, okay? First, how much is the loss on realization? Okay? Second is, how much should the partners pay? Okay? And then, what is the capital balances of the partners after liquidation? Okay? Take note, the third question is a trick question. Okay? What is the capital balances of the partners after liquidation? Okay? Later, di-discuss ko bakit siya trick question. Okay? So, this is how you compute the liquidation or statement of liquidation. Okay? So, isipin mo, meron kang worksheet, okay? Then, you put it all the necessary or given accounts, okay? So, cash, other assets, liabilities, and capitals, okay, of partners. Now, balances, okay? From the balance sheet, okay? 200,000 for cash, other assets 550,000, liabilities of 320,000, okay? And then for the three partners, okay? For Milk Tea, okay? 230,000, coffee 130,000, and for Chuck is 70,000. Okay? Now, let's compute, okay, determination of loss from the sale of non-cash asset, okay, or other assets. So, LOR meaning loss on realization. Okay? So, as you can see, the other assets amounted to 550,000. Okay? And the proceeds of the sale of the non-cash asset is 420,000. Yung 420,000 is addition siya, okay, sa cash. Okay? And then yung other assets mo is ililess mo na yung total book value amount niya. That is 550,000. So, to compute, okay, the loss on realization, 550,000 less 420,000. Okay? So, to compute loss on realization, simply to get the loss on realization, we simply subtract, okay, the total amount paid or proceeds from the sale of non-cash asset, okay, to its book value. Okay? So, 550,000, okay, less 420,000, okay, the loss on realization, okay, is 130,000. So, that 130,000, okay, is allocated, that loss will be allocated to partners, okay, to milk tea, okay, and coffee. So, parehas lang naman sila ng profit sharing ratio of 40%. So, one time ka na lang or one time mo na lang kunin, okay, yung 40%, okay, then i-record mo na lang sa parehas na kung ano man yung makuha mong 40% ng 130,000, okay, and then for Chuck, which is siya lang naman yung kakaiba yung profit sharing ratio, okay, so for Chuck, okay, it's 26,000, okay, so yun ang accounting for loss on realization. Okay, again, to get the loss on realization, total book value of the other asset or non-cash asset minus total amount sold or total proceeds from the sale of non-cash assets. Okay, so after you get the loss on realization, allocate the loss to partners. Okay, so after loss on realization, okay, you simply get the balance first, okay? Kada process of liquidation, okay, maglalagay ka ng balance, okay? Para yung accounting equation mo, okay, is makita mo kung balance ba from asset, okay, to liabilities and equity. Okay? So, after the loss on realization, you get the balance, okay? So, the cash now is 620,000 because we have the balance of 200,000 plus the proceeds from sale of non-cash asset of 420,000. Okay, so the other assets will be at zero. Okay, kasi na-ibenta mo na. Okay? So, yun, balances lang, okay? Liabilities, okay, 320,000, then subtract the allocated loss to the partners, okay? So, yung balance ni Milk Tea na 230,000 less 52,000, you will get 178,000 from because of the allocated loss, okay? Then, for coffee, 130,000 less 52,000, okay, you will get 78,000, okay. Then for Chuck, 70,000, okay. Then 26,000 allocated to Chuck from the loss on realization, you will get 44,000, okay. That is the balances for after loss on realization. Okay, so next, the first payment word here is payment of outside creditors. Okay, so in the problem states that outside creditors paid in full. So all the liabilities will need to pay. Okay, need to pay the full amount. Okay, so in cash we have to deduct 320,000 and then for the liabilities also. Okay. By the way, to record, okay, journal entries to record the loss on realization, that should be debit cash of 420,000, okay, and then debit milk tea capital of 52,000, okay, then debit coffee capital of 52,000, and then debit check, okay, 26,000, and then the credit is the other assets or non-cash asset, okay, of 550,000. Okay, that's the journal entry for loss on realization. Okay, so for the payment of liabilities or payment to outsiders, okay, journal entry is accounts payable, okay, or simply liabilities, debit liabilities, and then credit cash. Okay, now after you pay the outside creditors, okay, the remaining cash will be 300,000. Okay, the 300,000 now will be the allocated, okay, that was the remaining cash, okay, to settle all the partners, okay, or payment to partners. Yan yung available cash na ibabayad sa partners. Okay, so to liquidate the partnership, okay, the last step is this, okay, payment to partners. Okay, as I said, okay, cash available after step 1 to 3 of the liquidation process for lump sum. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the balance of cash after payment na liability is 300,000. So before you allocate the 300,000, make sure that the asset, the cash, will be total to the equity, okay, of the partners. Kasi minsan hindi pagka tapos mo magbayad ng liability, minsan hindi magtutugma yung assets, okay, assets, and then yung sa equity, okay, yung payment to partners, kasi minsan nakakalimutang isama yung mga loans, okay. Mamaya sa installment liquidation pag-usapan natin si loan, okay. So dito, okay, we simply deduct, okay, 300,000 to zero out all the balances. So pagka na zero out mo na lahat ng accounts, we're totally, okay, liquidated. The partnership totally liquidated kapag ka na zero out na lahat. Okay? So, kanina, 'di ba, nasabi ko yung number 3 question, okay, what is the capital balances of the partners after the liquidation? Okay? That is a trick question. Okay? The balance after the liquidation is 0. Okay? Kasi totally liquidated na yung partners, meaning stop na sa operation. Okay? So that is the first problem for lump sum liquidation. Let's have the last problem. Okay? Okay, let us take this. Okay, Euro partnership, problem number 2, or the last problem for lump sum liquidation. Euro partnership balance sheet, okay, October 1, 2020 is this. Okay, by the way, ito pala, may loan na pala dito. Okay, so pag-usapan na natin dito si loan. Okay, cash, non-cash assets, loan, Paris, okay, accounts payable, loan, Greece, okay, Paris capital, Greece capital, okay, 2/3 and 1/3, that is the profit sharing ratio of the two partners. Okay, now pagka presented sa'yo, okay, yung ganitong klaseng problem, like yung may loan sa debit side, may loan sa credit side, okay, pagka may loan sa debit side, ibig sabihin yan is loan from, okay, loan from, okay, then or ibig sabihin ng loan from is receivable from Paris, okay, or receivable from partner, okay. Pag sinabi mo namang, or pag nakita mo naman na mayroong loan sa credit side, ang ibig sabihin yan is loan to. Okay? Or payable to partner. Okay? So, loan from Paris, okay, and then loan to Greece. Okay? Ang effect niyan, okay, sa capital accounts, okay, ng partner is kapag ka nasa debit side, dinideduct mo siya. Okay? And then, pagka yung nakita mo namang loan is nasa credit side, ina-add mo siya. Okay? So, para makita nyo yung sinasabi ko, okay, let's have the solution later. Okay? This is the additional information. Okay? The partnership decides to liquidate on October 31, 2020. And the non-cash assets were sold for 900,000. Okay, take note, the proceeds, 900,000. Paid outside creditors in full. Okay? Settle loans to respective partners. Cash available after all the proceedings will distributed to the capital balances of the partners as payments. Okay? Question number 1, how much is the loss on realization? Question number 2, what amount should Greece, okay, reduce his capital from the sale of non-cash assets? Total capital interest of the partners after settlement of loans to them. Okay, and then last question, what should be the amount paid to Paris? Okay, so to have all the answers for these questions, let's have this solution. Okay, Europe Partnership Statement of Liquidation, October 31, 2020. This is the Statement of Liquidation for the Europe Partnership. Okay, balances came from the balance sheet. Okay, cash 150,000, non-cash asset of 1.2, loan from Paris of 25,000, accounts payable of 500,000, loan to Greece of 15,000. Okay, then the capital balances, okay, before liquidation, to Greece 550,000, and then to Paris 310,000. Okay, now let's let's proceed to liquidation process. First, determination of loss on realization. Okay, sale of non-cash asset. Proceeds from the sale of non-cash asset is 900. Our total amount or total book value of the net cash asset is 1.2. Okay, so in determining the loss on realization, the loss on realization is 300,000. Okay, book value of 1.2 less 900,000. Okay, so kapag nakuha mo na yung loss on realization, okay, allocate to the partners, okay, of their profit sharing ratio, okay, of 2/3 and 1/3. Okay, so katulad kanina, ganun lang din. After you get the loss on realization, you get the balances. Okay, so once na-allocate mo na, get the balances of the respective capitals and accounts. Okay, so cash 1,050,000. Okay, that is 150,000 balance plus the proceeds from the sale of non-cash asset of 100. Okay, so the NCA will be at 0. Okay, kasi naibenta na siya. Okay, then others, loan from Paris of 25,000, accounts payable of 500,000, loan to Greece of 15,000, okay, and then the capital balances. For Greece, we have 350,000, and to Paris, we have 210,000. Okay? Kaya siya naging 350,000 and 210,000 because dinidak natin yung allocated loss on realization. Okay? So, next step is payment to outside creditors. Okay? So, paid in full. Okay? So, deducted to cash is the 500,000 and then to accounts payable. Okay? Once again, what is the journal entry? Journal entry to record the loss on realization, debit cash, credit capitals, okay? And then ulit, debit cash, then debit capitals of the partners, and then credit, okay? Non-cash asset, okay? Or other asset. And this time, okay, payment to creditors, debit accounts payable, okay, and then credit cash. Okay, then get the balance again. Okay, after payment of liability, okay, the balances are to cash 550,000, okay, then loan from Paris, and then 25,000, and then loan to Greece of 15,000, and then the capital balances of Greece and Paris of 350,000 and 210,000. Now, settlement of loan. Okay? Settlement of loan. So, just simply, okay, deduct all the loans. Okay? But in the effect in the capital, okay, kapag ka loan to Greece, okay, pagka loan to, okay, added to the capital account of the partner. Pagka naman loan from, okay, deductible siya sa capital account ni partner. Okay, as you can see, okay, yung 15,000 is naka-add siya, okay, while yung 25,000 is naka-deduct. Okay, so now to get the balances, okay, 550,000, okay, and then capital balance of Greece after the settlement of loan is 365,000, okay, and then to Paris, okay, capital accounts after the settlement of loan is 185,000. Okay, now if you total 365 and 185, the total is 550. So, the available cash for payment to partners is determined. So, just simply, okay, pay the partners, okay, to its to the cash available for payment, okay, distribution. So, that is lump sum liquidation. Okay, now let's proceed to installment liquidation. Okay, by the way, answers to questions. Loss on realization 300,000. Distribution of loss, okay, 200 and 100. Settlement of loans, okay, then distribution of payments, okay, Greece and Paris. Okay, now let's proceed to installment liquidation process. Okay, now let's proceed to installment liquidation process. Okay, like in lump sum, okay, ganun lang din siya. Okay, kaya lang this time may nadagdag dito. Okay, so first, again, sale of non-cash assets, determination of loss, okay, payment to outside creditors, okay, settlement of loan, payment of liquidation expense, if any. Okay, ito yung nadagdag, okay, sa installment liquidation process. Okay, payment of liquidation expense and cash withheld. Okay, cash maintenance, if any. Okay, by the way, later, let us discuss the liquidation expense and cash maintenance or cash withheld. Okay? Then, payment to partners. Okay? That is the 6th step of installment liquidation process. Okay? Installment liquidation. Okay? Installment liquidation. Meron po tayo sa installment liquidation na dapat tandaan. Okay? Sa pag-distribute ng or sa pagdidistribute ng payment sa partner. Okay? And installment liquidation, okay? Kaya siya tinawag na installment liquidation kasi yung pagbibenta mo ng non-cash asset mo is paunti-unti. Okay? Pati yung pagbabayad ng liabilities mo. Okay? To outside creditors. Okay? Or payment to outside creditors paunti-unti. So, to illustrate installment liquidation, let's have first problem number 1. Okay? The condensed statement of financial position of Laney Partnership are as follows. Okay? This is the condensed statement of financial position of Laney Partnership. Okay? Cash, non-cash assets, loan from Paul. Okay? Then, accounts payable, loan to Jake and Les. Okay? And then, capital accounts of the partners. Okay? With their respective profit sharing ratio of 40, 30, 30. Okay? Additional info. The following are the installment of sale of non-cash assets, payment to outside creditors, liquidation expenses, and cash withheld. Okay? Sale of non-cash asset, okay, 2 beses. So, yung problem na to is meron siyang 2 periods of liquidation. Okay? So, sa cash withheld, okay, depende kung ilang period liquidate. Okay? In this problem, okay, 2 beses lang. So, as you can see, yung cash withheld column is 1 beses lang merong cash withheld na 200,000. Okay? Pero sa liquidation expense, okay, parehas from the first and the second. Okay? So, question, okay? What is the capital balance of Paul and Jake after the 2 installments? How much is the total cash received by Les? Okay, yan yung 2 question na dapat sagutin in this problem. Okay, so let's answer. Okay, first installment. This is the first installment. Okay. Katulad sa lump sum, okay. Balance, okay, from the statement of financial position of the partnership. Okay. Then, computation of loss on realization. This time, sa pag-compute ng loss on realization, kung magkano niya ibinenta in the first installment, okay, yun lang yung ibabawas mo sa NCA mo. Okay, or non-cash asset mo, and then yung proceeds, ganun pa rin. Okay, so sa pag-determine ng loss on realization, kung magkano mo ibinenta, okay, then yung proceeds. Okay, this time, in the first installment, okay, yung NCA is at book value 975. Okay, pero na yung proceeds niya is 970 lang. So meron tayong loss on realization of 5,000, and that 5,000 will allocated to Jake, Les, and Paul. Okay, so to Jake, okay, 40% will have 2,000. Okay? Then to Les, 1,500. Then to Paul, 1,500. Okay? Then, get the balances after the loss on realization. Okay? So, cash, 1,215,000. Okay? Balance of non-cash asset is 975,000. Then, loan from Paul, okay, of 40,000. Accounts payable of 450. Okay. Loan to Jake and Les of 35 and 20 respectively. Then the balance after the loss on realization allocation for Jake 648,000. For Les, okay, is 298,500, and then to Paul 778,500. Okay, that's the balances after sale of non-cash asset. Okay, determination of loss on realization. So, next step is payment to outside creditors. Okay? This time, payment to outside creditors is also an installment. Okay? So, first installment, nagbayad tayo ng 350,000. Okay? To outside creditors. So, less deducted to the cash is 350,000 and to accounts payable of 350. So, get the balance of the affected accounts. Okay? So, cash, okay, the balance is 1,215,000 less 350,000. Okay? Ang balance niya after the payment of to creditors, okay, outside creditors is 865,000. While the accounts payable after payment of 350,000, meron pa siyang balance na 100,000. Okay? So, settlement of loan. Okay? So, settlement of loan, parehas lang ng ginawa natin kanina sa problem number 2 of lump sum liquidation. Okay? If nasa credit side, addition. Kapag ka nasa debit side, deduction. Okay? So, settlement of loan to Jake, Les, and Paul. Okay? Yung 35 and 20, addition. Then yung 40, deduction. Okay? Now, balances. Okay? After settlement of loan, balances of the capital accounts of the partners is 683,000, 318,500, and 738,500. Okay? Now, payment of liquidation expense. Okay? Payment of liquidation expense. Parehas siya ng loss on realization. Okay? Ina-allocate mo sa capital accounts ng bawat partners yung payment ng liquidation expense. So, yung 2,500 na liquidation expense is allocated to Jake, Les, and Paul of 40, 30, and 30. Okay? So, after liquidation expense, balance. Okay? Balance after liquidation expense, cash, 862,500. Okay? And capital balances are to Jake, 682. Okay? Less, 317,750, and Paul, 737,750. Okay, then the cash withheld. In this cash withheld, okay, ito yung cash maintenance. Okay, kumbaga, kailangan sa cash mo, may matitirang 200,000. Okay? So, yung 862,500, okay, less 200 na dapat ma-maintain mo, okay? So, ang purpose ng cash withheld, okay, is to determine the possible, okay, cash that to be distributed to the partners. Okay? So, in this problem, we have a cash withheld of 200,000. So, yung 200,000 na yan, okay, yan yung magsisilbing beginning balance in the second installment. Okay? So, wala siyang epekto, okay? Yung cash withheld, wala siyang epekto kahit saan sa mga accounts, okay? Only the cash itself. Kasi, maintenance siya, okay? Kailangan yung 200,000 na yan, yan yung matira sa cash balance mo. Okay? So, less 200,000, okay? The balance is 662,500. Okay? Yung 662,500, yan yung dapat na i-allocate sa partners. Okay? But take note, may sinabi tayo kanina na kailangan nating alamin, okay, kung paano ba dinidistribute, okay, yung available cash to partners. Okay? So, I will introduce to you the cash priority program. Okay? In this cash priority program, okay, dito natin dinedetermine or inaalam kung sino yung magiging priority 1, okay, priority 2, priority 3, okay, kumbaga yung mauunang bibigyan kapag mayroong available cash. Okay? So, this time, to compute the cash priority program of Lane partnership, okay? So, get the partners, Jake, Les, Paul, okay? Then, capital interest before loan of 650, 300, 780, okay? Then, yung loan, okay? Katulad ng ginagawa natin, okay, settlement of loan, kapag ka nasa credit side, add, kapag ka nasa debit side, minus, or deduction. Okay, so, once na nakuha mo yung total capital interest of each partner, okay, you need to divide it to its P&L ratio, okay, to get the loss absorption capacity. Now, yung loss absorption capacity is determination of how the partners will absorb loss. Okay? Kaya ba kung hanggang saan yung capacity niya mag-absorb ng loss. Okay? Para hindi siya maging insolvent partner. Okay? Now, sa pagkuha ng priority, okay, you need to determine sino ba sa tatlo, okay, in this example problem, sino ba sa tatlo yung may pinakamalaking loss absorption capacity. Siya yung magiging priority number 1. Okay? As you can see, ang naging priority number 1 is si Paul. Kasi siya yung may pinakamalaking loss absorption capacity. So, yung 754,167 is deducted to deducted siya, okay, para makuha yung balance ni Jake. Okay? Kasi si Jake, siya yung may second, okay, second loss absorption capacity. Siya yung pangalawa sa pinakamalaking loss absorption capacity. So, ipag-minus mo lang yung first higher, okay, first higher loss absorption capacity, okay, sa second higher. Okay? Ganun ang process, okay, process ng pag-allocate, okay, ng priorities. Okay? Yung pag-locate ng priorities, okay, is based on loss absorption capacity. So, in this problem, si Paul yung may siya yung priority number 1. Okay? So, 754,167 is rounded or rounded off yan. Okay? So, 754,167 to get the 40% of that, okay, you need to multiply by 40% P&L ratio. So, yung makukuha mong 40% sa 754,167, yan yung magiging payment, okay? Kapag ka mayroong available cash. Okay? So, nakuha na natin si priority 1. Okay? Next, priority 2. Sa priority 2, dalawa na magiging priority. Okay? Siyempre, si priority 1. Okay? Hindi mawawala si priority 1. Pero this time, madadagdagan si priority 1. Okay? Si second highest loss absorption capacity. Okay? So, this time, si Jake. Okay? So, yung 645,833, okay, isinubtract lang yan, okay, sa amount na or sa loss absorption capacity ni less, okay, na 1,066,667. Okay? So, yan yung dalawang priorities. Okay? So, first priority is si Paul, and then second priority is si Jake and Paul. Okay? Then, like, katulad nung ginawa natin kanina sa first priority, okay? Para makuha mo yung payment to partners, okay? Or yung amount na dapat ibayad kay Jake, okay? You simply multiply by 40%. Okay? Then, to Paul, okay? You need to multiply by 30%. Again, sorry, priority 1, okay? Nasabi ko, 40% siya. Okay? Sorry. 754,167 multiply by 30%. Okay? To get 226,250. Okay, then sa second priority, okay, 645,833 multiply by 40%, that will be the payment to Jake. Okay, full payment to Jake. Okay, and then 645,833 multiply by 30%, yan yung second payment na dapat matanggap ni or yan yung babayaran kay Paul. Okay, so first priority si Paul, then yung second priority ni Paul, okay, add mo lang yung dalawa, yun yung dapat matanggap ni Paul. Okay, in the first installment. But since we have only 662,500 available cash to distribute, so okay, payment distribution. Okay, so cash to distribute is 662,500. So, first priority will be settled in full. Okay, so 226,250 will be paid to Paul. Okay, so the balance of 662,500 is less the priority paid in full of 226,250. Okay, the balance of that is 436,250. Now, that is the balance after priority 1. So, to pay priority 2, okay, paid, since kaya namang bayaran si Paul ulit ng in full of 193,750, okay, so, bayaran mo siya in full. Okay, then yung excess, okay, yun yung mapupunta kay Jake na bayad. Okay, to get the amount of 436,250 na balance. Okay, to paid priority 2. Okay, so since alam natin na may balance pa si Jake, so the payment of the balance to Jake is distributed in the second installment. Okay? Kapag ka may available cash to pay the partner. Okay? So, total distributed to partners, okay, to Jake, 242,500. Okay? Then to Paul, 420,000. Yan yung sagot sa first question. Okay? Yan yung initial answer sa first question. Okay? So, last installment. Okay? Diba? Sabi ko, dalawa lang yung installment natin. So, this is the last installment. Okay? Or the second installment. So, katulad lang ng dati. Okay? Katulad lang nung kanina na ginawa natin. Pero this time, okay, yung process mo na lang, okay, is yung determination of loss, pagbabayad ng outside creditors, and liquidation expense. Wala na tayong cash withheld dito. Kasi, ang cash withheld is mini-maintain lang yung cash na yon, okay, for the next installment. Since dalawa lang naman yung installment natin, so isang beses ka lang magka-cash withheld. Okay? So, in this last installment, okay, we repeat, okay, the process. But this time, wala na tayong cash withheld na gagawin. Okay? Only determination of loss from the sale of non-cash asset, payment of outside creditors, and payment of liquidation expense. Okay? And payment to partners. Okay? So, balance after the first installment, okay, cash 200,000, that is the cash withheld. Okay? Then, NCA or non-cash asset of 975,000. Accounts payable of 100,000. Okay, then the partners capital accounts. Okay, capital balances. To Jake, Les, and Paul, we have to Jake for 439,500 to Les 317,750, and to Paul 317,750. Okay, so determination of loss, okay, loss on realization, this time yung book value, okay, ng pagbenta is 7, though last na siya, okay, total amount, okay, total amount of NCA na, okay, so whatever is the proceeds, okay, to get the loss on realization. Okay, so this time, ang proceeds natin is 650,000. Okay, so ang loss on realization natin is 325,000. Okay, and that 325,000 will be allocated to Jake, Les, and Paul. Okay, to their respective profit loss ratio of 40-30-30. Okay, so the 40% of 325 is 130,000. While the 30% of 325,000 is 97,500 to Les and Paul. Okay? So, balances after the allocation of loss to partners. Okay? Cash balance is 850. Okay? Then, wala na tayong NCA. Okay? Accounts payable of 100,000. Okay? Then, balances of the partners after the allocation of loss. Jake, okay, to Jake, 309,500. Okay? To Les, 220,250. And to Paul, 220,250. Okay? Then, payment to outside creditors of 100,000. Okay? So, after payment to outside creditors, okay, balances. Okay? So, balance of cash after payment is 750. Okay? Then the Then, capital balances. Okay? Then, payment of liquidation expense. Okay? Payment of liquidation expense is 1,500. So, allocated ulit siya sa capital accounts ng bawat partner. So, 40% of 1,500 is 600. Then, 1,500, okay, 30% of 1,500 is 450. So, allocated yung 450 to less and Paul, okay? Since parehas lang naman sila ng profit sharing ratio of 30%, okay? So, after liquidation payment of liquidation expense, okay, the balance of cash is 748,500. Then the capital account balances to Jake 308,900, to Les 219,800, and to Paul 219,800. Okay? So before we proceed to payment to partners, okay, let us know first, okay, how to distribute that 748,500. Okay, payment distribution of 7,400 748,500. Okay? Cash available to distribute 748,500. Okay? Balance of priority 2. Okay? 'Di ba kanina meron ang naibayad mo lang kay Jake is 242,500, but the total payment that will need to receive ni Jake is 258. Okay? 258 basta yun. Okay. Balance. Okay? 7 after deducted the balance of priority 2, okay, which is si Jake na 15,833, the balance of cash is 732,667. Okay? Then that balance, okay, will be distributed using their P&L ratio. Okay? Now, this time, makakatanggap na ng cash si Les. Okay? So, to distribute the 732,667, okay, P&L ratio of 40, 30, 30, okay, to Jake, 40%. That 40% of 732,667 is 293,067, okay. Then, to Les and Paul, since pares lang sila ng profit sharing ratio of 30%, so 732,667 times 30%, Les and Paul will have 219,800. Okay? So, yung balance ni Jake, okay, na 15,833 plus the share in P&L distribution of 732,667, okay, of 293,067, okay, will give us 308,900. So, the total payment distribution need to Jake, Les, and Paul is 308,900 to 19,800 to Les and Paul. Okay? So, now, meron na tayong total payment distribution. So, let's check. Okay? Yun. So, payment to partners, okay na. Okay? So, 748,500 is allocated to Jake, Les, and Paul of 308,900. Okay? To Jake. Les is 219,800 and the same as Paul, 219,800. So, the lady partnership will totally liquidated. Okay? Now, let's proceed to journal entries of this installment liquidation. Okay, journal entries from the first installment. Okay, this is the journal entries from the first installment. Okay. Next, this is the journal entries from the last, okay, installment. Okay. Now, that is all for partnership accounting. Okay. Hope that from formation to operation to dissolution and up to this liquidation, hope natutunan mo, okay, kung paano siya i-account. Okay? Maraming salamat sa installment discussion of partnership. Thank you sa pakikinig. Okay? God bless!